So just wanted to say thank you to everyone for coming along and joining us this evening, and thank you to those families who are not able to join us but are joining us via the live stream. I know everyone's very, very busy, and I appreciate that you've come along this evening to talk about your daughter's subject choices for next year and to work with us in supporting her to pursue a course of study that she enjoys and leads on to further study in her later years. So for our Year 7 girls who are here, it's a bit exciting. It's the first time that they've had a voice in some of the subjects that they are learning. So of course the bulk of theirs will still be the Australian curriculum and the entitlement subjects that they have up until Year 9, Year 10. But they get to pick some things next year that they've enjoyed this year. So that's exciting for them. For our Year 8s, I think they're starting to understand themselves as learners. So they've had a year of picking some electives. They're starting to know what they like, what their skills are, where their strengths are. And so it's nice for them that they can start to pick subjects where they consolidate that skills and those understandings. And they also, as they're in Year 9, they're starting to leave that sort of middle phase of learning and get ready for the senior phase. So it's a good year for them to really consolidate all of that. And then our Year 9 girls, so they're Year 10 next year, they are in the first year of their senior phase of learning. So what we need for them when they're picking their subjects, and it's a little bit hard, but you start to project yourself into Year 11 and 12. And what sort of things do you see yourself studying then? Because the idea of Year 10 at Girls Grammar is it's a preparation year for the senior years. So what we're trying to do is build that foundation knowledge and skills and understandings for them in that last year before they go into their Queensland Certificate of Education. So that's why they get a taste of things like legal studies that they may never have done before. That's why we split things like ancient history and modern history to give them a taste. That's why in science, instead of them all doing a general science, they get a bit of a voice in whether they want to do chemistry, try some psychology, biology. So they're really trying to see what are the subjects that they enjoy, that they have the skills and understandings in, and that are going to lead on for them into the older years of schooling. So the one point I would make today is whichever year your daughter is in, regardless of whether she's going into 8, 9 or 10 next year, it's really important that she chooses subjects where she's had some previous success, where she has some degree of skill and interest, and that she's going to enjoy. Learning is much more rewarding if you have enjoyment in it. So having a bit of a balance, you are still going to do that core. So the nice thing is you have got those foundations that the Australian government says is important for all learners to do. So you're still going to do English and maths and science and humanities and up until Year 9 PE. But the other ones gives you a taste then. So pick the ones that you're good at. Don't listen to your friends. It's nice to be able to do the same things they do, and if you've got the same skills and interests, that's great. But don't pick them just because your friends are doing them. Pick them because they're the right subjects for you. So I hope you find this evening's presentation informative, and I hope that it's a worthwhile opportunity to catch up with teachers. They will still be here after the presentation. If you've got more questions, they'd be happy to answer them. And if there's anything that we can do to support you or your daughters with their choices, please don't hesitate to let us know. So in Dr. Fry's absence, I've actually asked Miss Christy Day, who is our Director of Middle Years, to present tonight's session to you. So if you can just join me in welcoming her. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So firstly, thank you for your time this evening. Just so that you have an idea of where we're headed, we have broken our information session into 2 basic groups. So we're looking at Year 7 into 8 and Year 8 into 9, and then we'll focus again on Year 9 into 10. Towards the end of the session, we will show you how to fill out the form with your preferences and initially just discuss what each of the students should be considering when they're choosing their subjects. So we'll get you started for this evening. So just to explain our continuum of learning here at Rockhampton Girls Grammar School, as most of you should be aware, we are a prep to 12 school. So we start with our early learning school, looking at prep Year 1 and Year 2, through to primary school, Years 3, 4, 5 and 6. From there, we're moving into what we would have considered high school, so middle school, years 7, 8 and 9, and then high school, the senior part of high school, years 10, 11 and 12, so looking at the senior phase of schooling. So ladies, I'd hate to say this, but you are transitioning into that phase of learning, and you need to start considering where you're heading with your subject choices. So next year in 2022, years 8 and 9 students will be studying your 5 core subjects, as Mrs. Johnson has just mentioned: English, math, science, PE, and the humanities. So humanities is broken into civics and citizenship, history and geography. You will also have the opportunity to then elect 3 subjects of your choice. Year 10 students, so year 9 into 10 next year, you will continue to study your core subjects, but you will have more elective choices. So you will see as we move through, we've broken up your core subjects to give you a little bit more exposure to the senior subjects you will experience in years 11 and 12. So you also, at year 10 level, get to choose 3 elective general subject areas. So as I mentioned, your year 8 and 9 core curriculum: English, Math, Science, Humanities and Phys Ed. Your electives that you can choose from include Agricultural Science, Business Studies, Dance, Drama, Food and Textiles, Digital Technology, Music, Spanish, Visual Art and Design. So one thing I would like to note there, the only subject that does have a prerequisite is Spanish. So you need to have studied Spanish through year 7, 8, 9, 10 to consider studying Spanish at years 11 and 12. So if you're looking at continuing your language other than English, please consider taking that from year 7 through so that you have that opportunity. Year 10, your core curriculum remains very similar. So you will also be looking at English, mathematics, science. You'll also get the opportunity to continue with your humanities and social sciences. And you will also have, just as an additional subject, a career education subject. This subject is going to give you 1 QCE point towards your final QCE. So your QCE is your Queensland Certificate of Education. And you will also have the opportunity for some academic mentoring timetabled into your week as well. So year 10 mathematics, you will have the opportunity to choose between essential, general and methods. So they're the levels of mathematics you will start to see from year 11. So you have the option of choosing an essential mathematics, which is an applied subject, and then the general subjects are general mathematics and mathematic methods. Year 10 science will be a little different to what you've experienced so far. So through years 7, 8 and 9, science, as you've studied it, has been broken into 4 term units basically. So you get to study an earth and space science unit, a chemistry unit, a physics unit and a biology unit. But once you get to grade 10, we're giving you the option to choose between the 3 major strands that we offer at senior: chemistry, physics and biology. And we're also offering a biology with a psychology focus for those of you that may be interested in psychology at years 11 and 12. So you can see our options. So the subject content will be broken into trimesters, so 3 sections throughout the year. You can choose whatever options throughout each of those trimesters. So for trimester 1, you can choose chemistry or biology. You could choose biology with the psychology focus or physics for the 2nd trimester. And then you could choose biology or chemistry for your 3rd. And you can zigzag between each of those lines if you wish. So for those of us with a biology focus, you could choose biology in trimester 1. You could choose the biology with a psychology focus in trimester 2. And then again in trimester 3, biology. I would choose the chemistry ones myself. Your general electives at year 10. Similar to years 8 and 9, you have agricultural science, dance, drama, food and textiles, digital technologies, music, physical education, Spanish, and visual art and design. So just noting that Spanish prerequisite for senior. Did I? Oh, sorry. Sorry, humanities teachers. The HAS subjects are similar to the science. So you get to choose between the ancient history and modern histories for semester 1 and semester 2 focus, and again, a business or a legal studies focus. So my apologies about that one. So your selection process for your curriculum for next year. It's important to be thinking about what subjects you have demonstrated an ability in, that you have an aptitude in, or that you have an interest in. So these subjects need to be consistent with your skills, your knowledge, your attitudes to life, what you're thinking of doing in senior school. Most importantly, I think it needs to be something that you will enjoy, okay? You won't succeed in much if you're not enjoying it. So your aim overall is to attain the highest levels of academic achievement possible, and you will then see that success coming from those academic results. So for years 8 and 9, the good news is that you can try a few subjects. So you don't have to commit yourself to the 3 electives that you select within the coming days. You can move between your electives to try different subjects, to see what suits you, to see what fits your interests, and in some cases to find out what you really don't like. So you can change between each of those subjects at the end of a semester to try those other options at your disposal. If you wish to do so, these changes are done in consultation with Dr. Fry and your parents, obviously, and then those changes will be reflected in the next semester's timetable. Now, as we go through our timetabling for the year, each of the subject offerings are determined by the interest in each of those subjects. So we need subject enrolments of sufficient quantity to be able to offer those classes. So sometimes it is not generally possible for the school to offer subjects in which there is only a few students interested. So students, your job, and this is the hard bit for you, you have to have some chats and discussions with your teachers about what they think you have the aptitude to do, about where your skills and your interests lie, and you also need to have a chat with mum and dad about what they think you're capable of. So we get to see you quite a bit in school, and we know some of your strengths and weaknesses, but your parents and guardians are the ones that probably know you the best. So they're going to give you some very sound advice. Now, the selection process itself, so the form that we are able to download, you will see on the website, has the instructions to list 1, 2, 3 or 4 your preference of subject. So preference 4 for years 8 and 9 is a reserve subject. So that's one that you put at the end as a filler almost, just in case you don't get preference 1, 2 and 3. Now please be sure to order them 1, 2 and 3. So you get your favourite subject first, and then your next, and then your next, so on, okay? For the year 10 selection process, remember I mentioned you get to choose between your mathematics, you get to choose between Maths Essential, Math General and Math Methods. So you will need to tick on your selection process form which of those mathematics strands you would like to take. The year 10 science also has that option for you to select which science you like. So you can choose the chemistry, the physics and the biology as indicated, or like I said before, you could choose all biologies. The HAS options, similarly, you will need to choose between the histories, so modern and ancient history, and then business or legal studies through semester 1 and semester 2. You also need to number your selection of subjects in your order of preference. So number 4 again, similar to years 8 and 9, is a reserved subject, and then you're numbering in order of preference each of your subjects. So number 1, food and textiles, lucky duck Mrs. Rogers. Number 2, phys ed. Number 3, Spanish, and then number 4 for ag. Don't go too far. Further guidance for any student or parent. Please do not hesitate to ask any questions. So students, you can come and talk to your care group mentors. Like I said, speak with your parents, speak with older students who take those subjects. So especially as you're moving year 9 into year 10, speak to those current year 10 students about which of those sciences or which of the humanities subjects they preferred. Talk to your actual subject teachers. They have a wealth of knowledge on what the content is and what you are going to come up against in each of the subjects. Refer to the subject selection handbook. So again, that's downloadable from the school website. And Dr. Fry. Alternatively, Mrs. Miller-Waugh is available for a chat if Year 9s would like to talk to her about the career education. And our lovely Dr. Fry. Always our lovely Dr. Fry. Now your staff contacts. Students, I hope you know who your teachers are, but just to remind you, your core teachers this afternoon, or this evening, sorry, to have a chat to. So for English, Mrs. Lee Bartlam is here if you still have any other questions. For mathematics, Ms. Sian Fulliger. For ancient and modern histories, Ms. Caitlin Schultz. For business and legal studies, Mrs. Stephanie Marston. You can speak to myself about years 8 and 9 science, and Mrs. Emma Whitehand is here to speak about 8 and 9 HAS. Now for the elective teachers, Mrs. McBride, Mrs. Selena McBride is here for ag and for the year 10 chemistry. Mrs. Greta Doherty is here for PE or physical education. Ms. Larissa Anger is here for dance. Ms. Jess Dawes for music. Is it Senorita or Senora? Am I saying this right? Senora Mai Taylor Costa for Spanish. Yes. I didn't do much Dora when my kids were young. Mr. Jaden Borg for digital technologies for this year's year 10 biology and physics. Mrs. Stacey Rogers for food and textiles. Mrs. Michelle Boykos is unfortunately absent tonight. She's unwell. Miss Anger is here in her place. Awesome, thank you. Ms. Jess Lamb for drama, and Mrs. Miller-Waugh, like I said, for the career education for those students needing any questions answered. So once again, I thank you for your time this evening. We will be hanging around, so if there are any other questions or anything else that needs to be clarified, please come up and have a chat, and we'll do our best to answer those questions for you. Thank you.